A hoe?
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe I will sleep around and have fun.
The deserved downfall of Bobbi Althoff, aka the industry plant who admitted to missing her daughter's first birthday to be in bed with Drake.
You know?
I flew all the way here
You did. I really do appreciate
on my daughter's
that.
first birthday.
Yeah, that's a cool thing to do as a parent. But let's talk about her and all the reasons I deduced as to why she flopped so bad. Now, this is my opinion, so please don't sue me. The first thing is money.
I saw this video of a girl talking about how much she made from her podcast, and I think I mentally decided that she made like at least $300 a year on her podcast alone, and I was like, that's what I need to do next. Like, I need a podcast.
Money, a recurring theme.
I didn't grow up with money. I am on a lifelong journey to get money.
She openly admitted that money is the major drive behind her and her podcast that failed in a year. No doubt that money can be the biggest motivator to almost everything. We need money to survive. But if money is your only motivation, your drive will run out pretty quickly. Money focuses solely on the now instead of the future. And the podcast did fail because it's only getting a fraction of the views as opposed to when it started. And that brings me to my next point, her being lazy.
It's supposed to be a parody of Guy Raz, How I Built This, because that's my favorite podcast. Like I told you, I've been listening to podcasts of how to build money my whole life. And I was like, I'm going to make a parody of that because I don't know how to interview. Because first I was researching how he interviews people and I was like, oh God, this is a lot of work. Let me just go in there and know nothing.
Money inspired you to start a podcast, but wasn't enough to make her actually put in the work to ensure the success of the podcast. Because money as a motivator is the most shallow and selfish thing ever, and it's not sustainable. For the podcast, you actually have to put in the work if you want it to be successful and make money long term. If you don't, the audience can actually see through that, and they did. But I highly doubt she knows that, because what is going through her head when she says something like this without thinking?
And I was like, oh God, this is a lot of work. Let me just go in there and know nothing. It's so much work.
But she doesn't think a lot about her actions, which brings me to her interaction with people. Subscribe. If you don't, you're going to be a guest on Bobbi's next episode. She constantly made passes at the men she interviewed.
Am I your type?
I'd do it.
Thank you.
So you see, she doesn't think a lot. She was still married at the time of this, although they filed for a divorce shortly after it came out.
Would you date someone that looks like me?
Then she moved on to having a reputation as a woman being passed around in the industry. There were also pictures of men carrying out of the club. Recently, someone put together that she was allegedly dating this NFL player, and the dude didn't even want to accept her in public, claim her like that when he was caught.
Someone who is like truly good for you.
And I think things moved really fast. I don't know. I thought it was funny. Clearly it wasn't. It was really sweet, really thoughtful. And he just was very thoughtful. And I think that it raised the bar for me, which sometimes sucks because then it's like, fuck. I didn't want the bar to be raised at all. But nevertheless, it didn't work out. He broke up with me.
And don't get me started on a sarcasm-infused podcast. In one of the episodes, Offset gave her a dose of her medicine. Thank God for that.
Just a little sprinkle.
Have a great day,
of
Offset.
Just a little seasoning.
All right, you can leave now.
This is my hotel. I paid for this motherfucker. You can leave now.
Overall, I think I can surmise she lacked tact and had no sense of direction.
I'm not an anythinger. I don't have any talents.
She thought she could get away with just doing the bare minimum, staying lazy and still making money. Also, some things come back to bite you in the butt as you grow older. It's all fun and games now, but your children grow up to see their mom labeled as a whore that was passed around, or that she missed her first birthday to be in bed with Drake. I can see why she fell out of favor with the public. I don't think she's bad. I just don't see the sustainability of her content, not just because money drives her, but because she's just not ready to put in the work for her podcast success. With that, we've come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!